Hey folks, my guest today is Pierre Tuzo. He's the co-founder of Claap. He's currently building the future of asynchronous communication in a work from anywhere world. He started his career at L'Oreal, where he learned how the best brands become and remain world-renowned leaders. Before Claap, he was VP of marketing at 360 Learning, an organization famous for its meeting limitation policies, where he helped the company grow from 25 to over 200 people and more than $30 million in ARR. Pierre, are you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
ready.
Did you get any equity at 360 Learning as VP of marketing or no?
Yes, I got some, and it's funny because right now I have the opportunity to invest like small tickets in small startup, and it's like it's good to be on the other side of like the like founder, like from founder and employee to like first time like investor as well.
So you're doing some angel investing then, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of Station F stuff. I hear something special is happening there.
yeah. Station F, actually like we know quite well because Roxanne Varza actually like invested in Clap, and we are like very friend with them.
Very cool. Tell us what Clap does.
Yeah, so basically, like the idea of Clap, it's an asynchronous meeting platform. And the basic idea is to say that we are living maybe the largest shift in our work since the last industrial revolution, which is working from anywhere. Is going to define our work for the upcoming 20, 40 years. But we have, like this one big issue, which is like back-to-back meetings have become the norm. And basically, like what we've noticed that when we're in the same office, and let's say I want to align with you on a product prototype, a spreadsheet, like a deck, etc., just going to take me like 5 minutes. I'm going to see you with my desktop, maybe like show my screen, ask a few questions. I'm going to get like some precise feedback and then I can move on. But the problem is like those 5 minutes, I will like turn into 30-minute Zoom call by default when we all switch to like full remote. And the idea behind what we call asynchronous meeting is to make it like super easy to share like video updates of your screen, then to collect like precise feedback, what we call in-context feedback tied to a specific minute, but also like zone of your screen, and then to turn this feedback into like next steps and decisions, but without the need to be in the same room at the same time. We like the idea behind this is to create a new format for like quick alignment and decision making, where we were kind of stuck between like two options, like asynchronous written communication, which is like flexible but limited, like that lack context and interactivity. So when we're stuck, we always revert to meetings. And the idea of Clap is to create this new format that combines the flexibility of asynchronous communication with like the contextualization and interactivity of a meeting.
Got it. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. I found myself using Loom a ton to do this sort of thing, right? So how do you beat companies like Loom? And I imagine Zoom will also get into this at some point.
Yeah, so I think like the main difference with like Loom, it's more like for video sharing. Like if you want to share like an update, it's like perfect, but it's not like built to basically like collect feedback and make decisions. It's not a system of record. And we like the idea of Clap is to really like build this kind of asynchronous like decision-making workflow, which is like you share an update, then you get feedback, then you turn feedback into next steps. And at scale, you also become a system of record for
Understood.
all the decisions in the company. So you create transparency at scale.
And what's the revenue model? How do you make money?
So it's a freemium model. So like the idea is to have like a free plan, which is like basically like people starting to like record claps, and then like inviting people to comment on claps, etc. And then at scale, it will have like a revenue model based on like a video creator.
Have you turned that on yet, or are you still pre-revenue?
No, we are still pre-revenue. We launched the private beta actually like around like 1 month ago, and right now it's really like closed private beta, and we have like around maybe I would say like monthly active user, around like 100 monthly active user, around like 30 to 40 like daily active user, and we have like around 3,000 people in the waitlist, a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is really to iterate first on like like understand what drives like adoption, activation, and also like virality, and that's really like the goal of like this super like closed private beta process.
When did you guys write the first line of code for Clap?
So actually, it was like around October, November. The first pass we wanted to nail was really like the video recording system. Like managing like all the kind of costs related to that. But we really accelerated on the development in January.
Okay, and how much have you spent on the MVP so far?
What do you mean by that?
How much money have you spent building the MVP so far?
Not a lot, to be honest. I think maybe 150, 200.
Okay. And so what is your goal? When do you guys want to launch pricing?
It's a good question. I think we want to have like a pricing model we like define when we open the public. We open the product to public beta because like I think like at first we were like a bit naive. We wanted to launch like the pricing model in like 1 year or 2 years, but we realized that if you launch a product that is like free from the beginning and then you launch the paid plan maybe 1 year after, it's going to be like super hard to do it. So what we want to do is really to have like the pricing plan ready when we open the beta.
So what do you think the pricing plan will be? Yeah. And when do you think you'll open it? How much time?
I think we'll open it so basically we are going to do it in 2 steps. So we are going to accelerate onboarding in September because we have like some good feedback on the product usage and we have like a better understanding of like the go-to-market that works. So we plan to keep like the product private, but accelerate onboardings. And then the public beta, I think it will be probably by end of the year or early next year.
And what will that price point be, do you think, the starting price point?
It's a good question. To be honest, I'm not ready to answer. I think it's
But do you think it'll be like a consumer $5 a month thing or like an enterprise $500 a month minimum?
No, I think it will be like somewhere between like $10 to $20 a month per video creator.
And what utility-based upsell, like will you build? Is it like, would a per seat model work or a number of recorded videos per month work? Or like, what's the usage metric?
Yeah, so basically, I think like it will be like based on like the video recorded, but then the question is also in terms of like features limitation. The idea of Claap is really to build like a new decision making system, and we are going to launch a lot of like features linked to that. Like for example, one of the primitive feature of Claap is what we call in context feedback. So it's really like feedback tied to a specific like minute, but also like zone of your like video. And right now it's more like text plus like emoji feedback. But tomorrow we'll have like, for example, system of like polls, system of like video feedback or voice feedback, etc.
And what niche are you building it for though, right? So like if you look at like frame.io for video editing, they do a good job of this, but it's for a very specific niche. Like, are you targeting salespeople or product engineers or something else?
Yeah, so like the goal for Claap is really to build a product for like anyone in the company. And it's funny you mentioned like frame.io because it was like part of like the testing we made to launch like this feature. We kind of hacked frame.io to like understand, okay, what drives adoption, what drives engagement on a video. If you want, we like collect feedback. So for us, like the goal is to like build a product that anyone in the company can use. But in terms of like go to market, what we've noticed, like the product teams are really like basically like the early adopters because they have like super like, like visual use cases, like they want to.
Don't you have to go super deep on that niche? Like if you try and be everything for everyone in the company, you just get diluted. But if you build specifically for a product manager, you can go really deep and just dominate and charge more.
I don't know because I think in the end, like our end goal and our mission is really to, like help people work from anywhere. What we've noticed, like if you want to work from anywhere and free your calendar from like back-to-back meetings, you need to master like asynchronous communication. And basically like the idea is to say like the way it's done today, it's mostly like limited to like asynchronous written communication. With Loom, you add context, but you don't have like the whole decision-making system. And we like the idea is to like, and the mission of Claap is to democratize like this way of like making decisions and like aligning internally. So I guess like it would change like the mission of the company to say this is like just for product teams. And the second point,
can't your mission change over time? I mean, don't all big companies start by dominating one niche? I mean, of course, everyone has brand visions.
And I think like the second point to answer your question is more like the added value we also have for product teams is, like one of the big nightmares you have as a product manager is like cross-team communication. Like as the company grow, it becomes like super hard to like align with like your sales team, your customer success team, your marketing teams, etc. And you are kind of stuck because you want to align them, you want to collect their feedback, but at the same time, you want to keep like shipping like features like really fast.
Got it.
And so you need to have like a product that speaks to both like product teams, but also like sales teams, etc. in terms of usage and complexity.
Yep. Pierre, we're running short on time here. I'm going to try and sneak in a bunch of questions here quickly. You mentioned you raised some capital. How much have you raised?
Yeah, so we raised $3 million.
$3 million?
Yeah, $3 million.
Okay. And how did you, obviously you're sort of pre-product, right? How did you raise that $3 million at a valuation that wasn't, super low?
Yeah, so actually like what we did, it was like a funny story, but we wanted to raise at first like $500K in January. But before that, we added like a lot of VCs on LinkedIn for a few months. And we prepared like a landing page like for a few months, like some social media posts, etc. And when we announced like Claap on LinkedIn, we had like, I think around maybe 45,000 like views on the post, hundreds of people like registered to the beta. And we had like a lot of requests for like VCs. And I think like, and the round was in the end like super competitive. We had like one term sheet in a few days. And in 2 weeks, we had like 15 term sheets. And that's how we basically went from like 500K to 3 million.
And what was the valuation on that?
The valuation like pre-money was around like 14.5 million.
Okay, so 17.5 post. And who is we? Who's on the co-founding team? You, who else?
Yeah, me and Robin.
Okay. Did you guys just split equity right down the middle?
Yeah.
Really? So you're a nice guy, 50-50.
Yeah, like we've known each other for like 14 years. We like best friends. And I think like the contribution is like the same.
Yeah. What's the team size today? How many people?
Yeah, so we're going to be 9 in September.
How many engineers?
5 engineers.
5 engineers. Okay, interesting. And how much of your own money have you put in the business? You had a little exit, I guess, because you had some equity in your previous company, right?
Yes, but actually like none, because like we incorporated right for the fundraising announcement. Like when we had like the term sheet, we are not incorporated yet.
Oh wow. Okay, got it. And what got these VCs so excited? Were they VCs that you guys already had relationships with because they saw what you built previously, or how'd they find the LinkedIn post?
Yes, I guess it's like it's kind of like it's what people need right now. And like we spend a lot of time really like iterating on the positioning, on the narrative before like making the announcement to make sure like it speaks and it resonates to people. I think like what this is like is when you come with like a strong narrative, which is not about like creating a new product, but like creating a new category. And then like we also like work with like for a few months before just to basically like test the idea. So basically like what we did some consulting missions, and the idea was to take maybe like the 15, 20 different like products on the market and test them as if it was like our own MVPs, and to really like understand, okay, what are like the right use cases, what drives like engagement, what drives like virality, etc. And in the end, we had like a prototype, which was like actually like quite precise. And we were like super like, I guess, accurate to explain, okay, this is like the reason why, for example, we need to have like this in context feedback feature. This is like the reason why we need to basically like store like recordings like this way, etc. And I think it was like the mix between, like the category narrative, but also like the product design we came up with, like with the prototype.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to look back on your LinkedIn right now to find that initial post, but I can't find it. But that is how you really got term sheets. That's how you got everything going. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, guys. So launch is coming. You talked through how you built the beta list, 300 folks. There's 3,000 on the waiting list right now. You're letting them on one by one. Product engineers is the focus. This all makes a lot of sense. Anything I'm missing that you want to chat about for the last minute?
No, what kind of question do you have? I think maybe like because you mentioned that you like the website. Maybe a few things we did at the beginning, like like between like the launch.
Who'd you pay? Who'd you pay to do the website?
I did it myself.
Well, and it looks really good. It looks like an agency did it. It looks really nice.
Okay. No, I think that's a cool stuff, because, like before I was like VP of marketing, and I had like, like a team of like a lot of people, and in the end you are like not hands-on, and, but I love to build stuff. And it's super funny when you go back to be like a founder, it's like you need to build stuff on your own. So, I did like most of the stuff on like Photoshop, on Figma, on Webflow, etc. And you can really like, it's good to be like an individual contributor sometimes. And and really enjoy like the building the website. And like one of the things we did that was super successful, because one of the key when you want to build like a category is that you need to own the problem. Like you need to kind of build the cognitive link between like the enemy, like the problem, in our case, like back-to-back meetings, and the category, so that like people, when they think about back-to-back meetings, they're going to think about like Claap. So one of the things we did, for example, was to launch a meeting calculator. It's on our website as well. And basically, like you connect your Google Calendar, and then you are going to see a lot of like stats around like your number of meetings, like the type of meetings you have, etc. And we did like a small product launch in April. And actually, we got a lot of traction and visibility through like this small launch. And I think
so this meeting calculator app is really smart. This is where you got a lot of new signups from. This is how you're building the beta list.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's part of this. We like basically like the waitlist. We had it like from the initial announcement in January, with like the meeting calculator, and also with like the fundraising announcement campaign we did in June. And I think like all the time is like, when you don't have like any product, you need to speak about the absence of the product. I need to kind of like repeat like the same narrative, like about beating the enemy. And that's exactly what we did for a few months.
Pierre, makes a lot of sense. Let's wrap up quickly here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite book?
I would say Play Bigger.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Yeah, I love Dave Cancer.
Number 2, is there a online tool that you really enjoy or like?
I would say Claap, but right now I discovered June.so for analytics. It's really cool.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Sorry?
Sleep per night.
I would say between 7 to 8 hours.
And situation, married, single, kids?
Single.
Okay, and how old are you?
32.
32. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Tough question. I would say maybe human psychology.
Learn psychology?
No, human psychology.
There you guys have it. Guys, Claap launched a couple months ago, 3,000 on their wait list, did a $3 million round on a 17.5 post. Team of 9 right now, growing the company. 2 co-founders, they were nice. They split it 50-50. Again, they believe in the future of asynchronous communication using their tool with a lot of utility value. Highlight parts of the video where you're talking about, use it as your system of record. We'll see if they can beat Loom and others playing in the space. Pierre, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Adam.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers. They try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.